Welcome back to Massive Loot. Where is it hidden this season? Are the Nightmare Dungeon escalations really worth it, and how do you get the most out of it? Which activity gives you the most reputation so you can get that resplendent cash? And also these absolute bonkers loot boxes, yeah, they're crazy. First, let's talk about Nightmare Dungeon escalation, if they're actually worth to do. Astaroth in Torment 4 has two modes. Either he drops squad all, or he's going completely crazy. He can drop multiple greater affix items and up to 10-12 uniques. Yeah, sometimes he goes off the charts. And in order to get the most loot from him, you should put the seasonal blessing Urn of Escalation, boost the chance of finding additional gear items in Astaroth rewards. Not only that though, you should also put the Urn of Strong Rooms because this gives you a chance to get more Nightmare Dungeon escalation sigils. And that's also the second amazing part about doing Nightmare Dungeon escalation. They have these Horadric Strong Rooms in, and at the end of the Strong Room, the box contains tons of Ancestral Legendaries as well. And we're getting quite the crazy amount of Opticide. I did not do a single 10-wave Inferno Horde this season, because I've been swimming in Opticide due to Nightmare Dungeon escalations. And the actual Strong Room itself nets you tons of Opticide, while going through the Nightmare Dungeon escalation as a complete one gives you 5,000 to 8,000 Opticide. And if you're lucky with your dungeon affixes like Horadric Bestiary, Strong Room, Forgotten Wisdom, there's also one called Opticide Mine. Or for example, Obol Reserve. Both of these are quite insane because Obol Reserve fills you up completely on Obols, and Opticide Mine gives you more Opticide than ever. Now what about the Nightmare Dungeon escalation and farming reputation? No. It says down here, gain reputation by completing dungeons. And that's not completely true because it insinuates that if we finish these Nightmare Dungeons, we're getting massive amounts of reputation. But the most reputation you're actually getting is by killing elites. Now you're going to say, but Pony, if I do the Horadric stuff, I also get the vials and I can turn them in for more knowledge, for more reputation. Yes, but it's not worth it. You can hand in 2,000 vials for 200 reputation. And we need 240,000 reputation for one single greater archetype cache. Yeah, so if I buy another 10, that's going to net me 2,000 reputation. That's it. Which activity, though, gives now the best loot and also the most reputation? I wanted to say it's probably the Helltide because the Helltide has a high amount of elite density. And while you're doing the Helltide, you could also do the Blood Maiden and open the Chest of Mysteries. That's not true. The best activity for killing elites is and stays the Infernal Hordes. Because if you're getting Hellborn or hunting you, or Aether Fiends galore, you're going to be swarmed by elites at any given point. I just recently did one Infernal Horde 6 waves, and I got 100,000 reputation from one single Infernal Horde. If that was a 10-wave Infernal Horde, it would have been a bonus cache on top of all the ether you're getting to actually get the loot at the very end. Because let's not forget that the Infernal Hordes themselves are not only used for Opticide, you could loot the greater archetype cache there as well for the 200 ether and get at least 2 to 3 greater affix items and the Scrolls of Temper Restoration. That's been my main use of Infernal Hordes right now, not the 10 waves, not the 8 waves. I've been doing the 6-wave Infernal Hordes to really stack up on those Temper Restoration Scrolls. I've been extremely unlucky this season with hitting my Tempers. They're absolutely needed. If you're farming reputation though, and not scrolls, then definitely do the 10-wave hordes, because if you get a good one with like 6 Hellborn or hunting you at some point, that's 6,000 reputation per Hellborn spawn. And before you ask about a lair boss farm for reputation, not this season. No, they're not dropping reputation. There's nothing coming. You're not getting anything. Don't forget that the greater archetype caches are class specific. There's no worth for them being opened by my druid right now. My druid gotta farm his own reputation to get their own caches. But the loot that's coming out of them is frankly ridiculous. You always get one greater affix item, and it might be having multiple greater affixes on it. And you're always getting one Ancestral Unique as well. That's better than my current Hand of Nas for my build. I could probably sell this for a couple of billion. The problem is, the items out of this are account bound. So that's the only sad part. If you get something absolutely amazing like this, you will have to use it for yourself. You can't actually sell the items out of the caches. You thought we're done? By far not, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget about our friendly Obol vendor. And the friendly Obol vendor has a big advantage this season because with the seasonal blessings, we can take the Urn of Curiosities and there's a 20% chance to get a bonus item. Sadly, it's not that 50 or 100% chance we had at some point, really netting us crazy amounts of Ancestrals. Still though, don't forget to put those points in. It's absolutely worth it. And if you teleport yourself to the Den of Mercenaries, you can still do the bartering. The actual caches, they contain ancestral items as well. You can get greater affix stuff easily. Restock the free supply, master working cache, not needed this season, but I like my boss summoning mad caches. And as you restock, there might also be just an ancestral item appearing like this. You're getting your greater affixes this season very easy. Let's not forget the Undercity. The Undercity is only worth it if you have the tributes. I have those tributes of Radiance. They will give me ancestral legendaries. Amazing. These tributes of Radiance I get from opening either Helltide chests, if I do my Whispers and get a chest of greater dungeon keys, and I get some of them for killing just Belial over and over and over and over again. As a heads up, the actual Tribute of Harmony for runes is nowadays more worth it than ever before. This season is the first season where I actually get some legendary runes from the Tribute of Harmony, but also from the lair bosses. They finally managed to have them drop these again instead of having to actually trade for everything and pay with your hard-earned money that you get from trading with people who definitely get their money through non-nefarious means, the same as they got their Betrayer's House through absolutely non-nefarious means as well. Yikes. And where would we get now all our greater affix unique items? How do we get the actual mythics? You know the answer and you'll hate the answer. You will have to get yourself Betrayer's Husks. Now, Betrayer's Husks are dropped by the Ambush Belial as you do the other bosses. But we all know Ambush Belial comes maybe once in every 10 fights, if you're lucky. Therefore, Betrayer's Husks are the thing that you just buy from your trusty vendor in the trade chat who says, oh, hi, I got 99 Betrayer's Husks, 2,000 stacks. And you're going to be like, that's amazing. 500 million gold, and you get yourself 99 Betrayer's Husks. Now, obviously, these Betrayer Husks are duped. Like, let's not lie about it. We know they're duped. They know they're duped. Blizzard knows they're duped, but they can't do anything about it. So the only way to meaningful farm greater affix uniques and really get them is to participate in, technically illegal stuff, but you're not liable. Your account will never be liable for doing this, FYI. Do I recommend doing this? Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I recommend doing this. I recommend talking to the guy in the game chat who wants to sell you these Betrayer Husks, because farming Belial is the most fun, and it's also the easiest way to get yourself the mythics. The greater layer bosses have the biggest drop chance for mythics, and Belial is the fastest one to kill. If I try to kill Andariel, Duriel, the Harbinger of Hatred, they always have their stupid faces. Belial, at some point, you're strong enough, you just million him down. Does that sting? Would I like to farm my Betrayer's Husks natively? Absolutely. Would I like them to actually stop forcing me to go through all the Andariel faces or Duriel faces? Yes, please. Because why do I have to go through the faces on these bosses when I can just blast Belial? Yeah, Belial is stronger than them. But just make them even, like, I don't know, give them 8 times the HP. I don't actually care. I'd rather have them have 8 times the HP than having to suffer through the faces that Andariel, Duriel, Harbinger of Hatred have. I haven't done the Harbinger because it's no fun. It's no joy. Maybe have them on their very first fight. Like if I fight them the first time this season, go through all their faces and force me to do it. But then on the second, third, 100th time, please don't. One final thing for loot, forge equipment, crafted items, smithy cache. Don't do this. They are per se not bad, but they'll waste your forgotten souls. They will waste your veiled crystals. They will waste your iron chunks and rawhide. If I would craft 20 of those right now, I'd almost be out of resources. Yeah. And the actual worth of them, let's craft one single one. They got good items in there. There can be ancestral items. But if you actually craft all of these, then you won't have any resources left to actually temper said ancestral item. You won't have any resources left to masterwork set ancestral items because you're out of Forgotten Souls, you're out of Iron Chunks, you're out of Veil Crystals. Don't do that mistake, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, any other loot spot you'd like to share? Any other thing you found out? How you feel about the Betrayer's Husk? And did you get yourself tons of reputation caches? Flex a bit in the description below what amazing items you have dropped. Also, meta update and an absolute amazing Necromancer build. Enjoy and have a fantastic good day.